So, welcome guys to another live stream. Before I even start, I shall apologize for moving the stream many times. I know a lot of people don't like that. So, as I always say, sometimes life happens, and that was definitely the case with the live streams. But like I said, the ultimate goal one day, who knows when that will be, is to stream as consistently as physically possible. But life happens sometimes and the streams have to get moved. But we're here now anyway. How is everyone doing? I feel like I haven't done one of these in a while because I've been away. I had like a month hiatus from streams. If you don't release an apology via your notes app, we won't believe your sincerity. So anyway, as you guys know, based on the title of today's live stream, we will be talking about the latest Balenciaga show. Well, not really show, more like a collection, the pre-fall 2025 collection, and kind of just run through it, talk about the ideas briefly, talk about kind of maybe what Demna was thinking when he did that, kind of the interesting things about the collection, what are the interesting facts, all those things, we will have that. But before I actually talk about it, if you guys have seen the collection, what were your thoughts? I'm very curious to know what you guys thought about it. I love Demna Vasalia. I love carrying. Damn, is this like a corporate love affair today? What's going on? What exactly is going on today? That's funny. You guys are actually hilarious. Okay, I struggle with Balenciaga since those disturbing pics of minors. Did they issue an apology? Yes, they did at the time. Charbit issued an apology. Demna issued an apology. They did, to be fair. I couldn't even watch the documentary on the creator. You mean Cristobal Balenciaga? Okay, interesting. It felt too basic, kind of like Slav Cos collection. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts, but obviously I have my thoughts, so we'll go into that now and we'll kind of talk about the collection and what exactly I think. Um, so let's have a look. So, like I said, it wasn't really a show, it was more just like a collection of images. So, what we'll do is we'll go through every look one by one and I'll share my thoughts. And then if there's any additions you guys have at the end, then we can look into those too. So to kind of start off, this collection is kind of themed like this camera roll campaign. Is kind of Demna wanted it to kind of look like a leaked camera roll campaign, which to be honest isn't super unique. There are many designers that have released a collection that looks like an iPhone camera roll. It is interesting. Obviously, everything that Demna does is intentional. Same thing with Balenciaga. So of course, you can see when you guys take a picture and your finger is kind of blocking your camera by mistake, and you can see the fingers, you know, blocking some of the view in the picture. That's kind of funny. That's hilarious. That's kind of Demna's sense of humor that he brings with every collection that I do appreciate, to be honest. So that it was kind of like a funny touch that I saw. This kind of shot by Demna on iPhone type of thing. It's very Jurgen Teller coded in a way. Camera roll in the social media age, groundbreaking. That's funny. So that essentially is like the point of it. This whole, shot in a style of internal use iPhone images. If you guys have worked for a brand, these are kind of how the images look when the lineup of a collection is sent to team members. So that's kind of the style of the whole collection in a way. And I think something I'll give Demna credit for is he's very good at doing collection and show formats. I think that Balenciaga probably has the freshest, and always actually consistently has the freshest ways of presenting clothing, whether it's on a Hollywood red carpet where people don't even know that it's, that's actually the runway show. People just think it's a red carpet and it's all a joke, to showing the clothing in a format of The Simpsons, collaborating with Fortnite, having a collection that is embedded in a website and can be viewed on the metaverse. Like, there's many interesting ways that Demna has presented his clothes, whether we're talking about different sets like the snow globe set, or the one that was, referencing the EU meetings, or it's very interesting. He keeps it interesting all the time. Now, of course, I don't love all the collections, but when it comes to how they are presented, I do actually very much enjoy Demna's ideas in that respect. if Demna if Demna was really about it, he would have deep fried the images. I agree on how shows his work. You mean how his shows work? And Leo, I totally agree. He has been pretty good at packaging his ideas to consumers. I totally agree. I think that's one of his strong suits. I think he keeps things really fresh compared to most brands, to be honest. Um, so yeah, this whole lo-fi photography style that everyone's doing, brands are using in their campaigns, it makes a lot of sense for him to do. In this collection, we saw a few collaborations that I'll talk about as we go through it. There's a collaboration with Lamborghini. There's also a collaboration with Dr. Scholl. So those are two very interesting things to talk about in the collection. A theme and a through line that I saw was this idea of comfortability throughout the collection. There were also themes of merch, which I thought was very funny actually. When I get to talking about that, you'll see why I said that. So yeah. Going straight into the looks, I feel like this silhouette is a very specific Demna-ism. I mean, this kind of very wide, oversized t-shirt that looks like a dress. What I will say, because sometimes people say that Demna doesn't develop, what I will say that I've noticed over the years is that this silhouette started all the way from his days at Vetements. Now, the reason he was doing the silhouette at Vetements is because Demna, being from Georgia, he grew up in a very Orthodox Christian society. And essentially, the priest, he was very inspired by the silhouette of the clothing that the priests wear. So in the early days, if you look at early Balenciaga collections, let me put them on the screen so you guys can visualize it. But if you look at early Balenciaga collections, you look at early Vetements collections, it was a bit more obvious in that priest sort of aesthetic. And as Demna has kind of been exploring these ideas of what is high fashion, what does high fashion represent, what is haute couture, I can put denim on an haute couture show and that can still be that, because it's all about techniques and it being handmade rather than kind of what this specific thing represents. So when in the earlier collections, him referencing that is a lot more obvious. Like, this is a collection that stands out to me. I'll show you guys on the screen now. This is from Fall Winter 2020, when he was using this silhouette very more specifically. So you can see across this collection, he's playing with this silhouette of, what the priest would wear. Now, over the years, he's transformed this into, t-shirt dresses with the same silhouette entirely. He's transformed it into jeans made into a garment with the same silhouette. So he's kind of finding different interesting ways to play that silhouette. But that very much is a Demna-ism to the core. Very much a Demna-ism to the core. Moving on. This is kind of like more of the same. Something that's very interesting to talk about is the footwear. Someone I follow on Instagram, I think a lot of you should follow, who's the head of sneakers at Balenciaga, actually shows a lot of the details of the footwear on Instagram. They're called the Zero shoes, and they are supposed to be barefoot shoes. Now, this is very interesting because they collaborated with Dr. Scholl. So, of course, like I said, there's a through line of comfortability as a focus on comfort and ease across this collection, whether it's the footwear or the clothing, that is very clear. And when you talk about barefoot footwear, there's this conversation online about health of your feet and the fact that barefoot footwear is better for your feet health wise because your feet muscles actually get used to walking and they build correctly versus when you wear like the shoes that we wear with all these Air Max bubbles and foams, it's actually not too good for your feet. So there has been, especially in the past 5 years, a big movement of people pushing for people to start wearing barefoot footwear. And that's where I can see Balenciaga playing into this trend and kind of inserting themselves into this trend. The only thing I find a bit weird about these Zero shoes is they are so minimal. They look like the kind of shoes that when you're walking, your feet will slip out of them. Although that probably won't happen because of the heel. The heel is quite high. But yeah, the design is really, really strange. But I love it. You guys know I never ever have anything bad to say about Balenciaga footwear, mainly because I just think they are at the forefront when it comes to innovation in footwear. So many brands struggle with footwear because, to be honest, footwear is very difficult to make, and luxury brands, for the most part, don't specialize in footwear. And that's what we're talking about brands like Berluti and brands like that. So I'm a huge fan. Whether it's weird or some of the footwear they make is wacky, I still don't mind it. I'm still a fan because I'm always here to support, creativity and innovation. I'm always a fan of that. So, yeah, you might look at them and think they are goofy. I think they're quite interesting. I think they're quite fun. Of course, the price is going to be ridiculous for what is a speck of foam. The price is about to be insane. I have no idea how much these are going to go for. I probably need to check, but I know it's going to be ridiculous, and I know that everyone's going to be up in arms, and I know it's going to be viral when people start making TikToks about the price. I already know that's going to happen, and that's kind of Balenciaga's marketing strategy at this point. That's kind of what they do. But yeah, I just find them interesting. They're so minimal though. They're almost too minimal in a way. It's kind of like ridiculous, but in a good way. Because like I said, I appreciate innovation in that sense. What do you guys think about the footwear? I'm curious. Those shoes are legitimately only for the 1% of people that go from doorstep to doorstep. Kate says they are better with the sock. Your foot is definitely touching the floor. Yeah, because you look at the arch, where the arch is in the footwear. If you have flat feet, the bottom of your foot is legit rubbing on the floor. That is so disgusting, considering if you're walking on a public road, people vomit on the street, people pee, some people shit on the street, there's dog shit, there's all sorts of stuff on the street. And if you have flat feet, because your arch isn't in that space, your foot is literally grinding on the pavement. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. But honestly, the black one with leather tabby sock winter dream combo. People are saying there's non-existent cushioning. This is a boneless house slipper. It's so funny. You must be Margella, said Martin Margella is typing. I know. Imagine how luxurious in a public toilet. Yeah, if you are wearing these shoes, you would not dare walk into a public toilet. That would be a mistake. That would be a very, very big mistake, to be honest. Mio says there's been a trend for making shoes less and less, like the row mesh shoes. Yeah, like even Alaya has been making shoes like that too. It does seem to be a trend, but like I said, it is part of maybe not in the case of a lion in the row, but I have seen generally as a trend, there's this focus on barefoot footwear and people caring about their foot health and stuff like that. But the shoes don't look like this. They don't. The barefoot shoes are the five fingers. Those are the things that people wear, and like they're not the flipping archless feet are going to rub on the ground kind of minimalist shoes. Oh yeah, see, someone mentioned, do you prefer these or the five finger shoes? I prefer the five fingers all day, every day. They look kind of goofy too, but it's kind of cool. I like goofy stuff, so I'm always going to be a fan of all that goofy stuff. But yeah, that's the conversation around the footwear anyway. I wanted to touch on that because you're going to see that footwear across a lot of the looks in this collection. So just preparing your minds, guys. Here we have some more Demna-isms where Demna likes to play around with different silhouettes. Obviously, this trouser here is exceptionally baggy. Is this even a trouser or is it a skirt? It looks more like a trouser, but like just stupidly baggy, extreme oversized silhouettes is what Demna does every season. I'm not really mad at that. A lot of designers have signatures. The only time, because I feel like sometimes when I do these lives, people think I'm not a fan of Demna, which is not true because I'm a big fan of Demna. The only issue I have is when he gets into the merchy side of things. But, you know, designers have signatures. It's fine for a designer to have a signature. But when he gets into all the merchy shit is where he loses me. But we're not there yet. So we can do that. The oversized coats, we see this a lot too. These are also things we see. Distressed knitwear. Of course, we had the footwear across the collection also. Extremely baggy trousers. I can imagine these look like the kind of trousers that Demna does, where it's kind of an optical illusion. So it's supposed to look like a certain fabric, but it isn't actually that fabric. These kind of look denim-ish, but I can imagine they're definitely not denim. They're probably some sort of jersey fabric or something like that, like cotton. So that's also very interesting. They don't show how the shoes move. Probably because feet will be rubbing on the floor, so there's not really much to show in terms of the feet moving with the shoes on. Yeah, there is a lot of merchy stuff near the end. There is. But that's the side of them that I don't really like, which is fine. I mean, I don't think there's any person on this planet that, you know, likes everything. That would be really weird if you just like everything. It means you don't really have taste. Whether bad or good, you just don't even have taste. It doesn't exist in your world, which is insane. Um, and I know a lot of. I think one reason why people think I don't like Demna is because I think a lot of let's say content creators or people that speak about fashion, they say the most agreeable things all the time. I don't know if it's to do with they don't want to say anything negative about brands because they want to work with brands. Actually, to be fair, that is part of it. And then secondly is they don't want to deal with the negative kickback from people disagreeing with them. So they just become like ultra agreeable people. um, so if I critique any designer, they're just like, you don't like that designer. It's like, no, I most of the time, like 95% of the time, I like Demna's work and I talk about all the stuff that I like about it all the time. Exactly. You can love a person's work while being critical of it. Why not? Exactly that. I like the scarf trench coat, but I think the ones he did years ago were nicer. Yeah, I love those too. We'll get to those too. Where did I study fashion? At Central St. Martin's. We're starting the Fashion Roman drinking game early, I see. Yeah, at every single stream's like, I don't hate Demna, guys. Anyway, these shoes also were shoes that everyone was talking about, which are kind of cool. When it comes to footwear, I just absolutely love Balenciaga footwear. This is their collaboration with Scholl. They've kind of turned the sandal, you know, the orthopedic, ultra comfortable sandal that Dr. Scholl is known for, and they've made a comfortable heel out of it. like I said, one of the themes throughout this collection is comfort. It's why, you have those really comfortable clothes. The clothes are flowy, they're wide. And you have collaborations with Dr. Scholl, which is, but then making heels, because we associate heels with being a very uncomfortable shoe. Not that all heels are uncomfortable. There are some heels that are very, very comfortable. However, if you think of heels, you think of a woman going to a gala or something and bringing sneakers or slippers in her bag so that when the night gets really painful, she can quickly, change into the slippers or the sneakers or whatever. That's what we associate heels with, especially stilettos. So to kind of be like, actually, no, we're going into the world of making heels that are comfortable for your feet and your feet actually feel nice and everything is nice. It's comfortable to walk in. I actually like that as an idea. Of course, this isn't a new phenomenon. Dr. Scholl, they've done collaborations with so many people that I've seen. One that comes to mind is Ganni. They had a really, really interesting collaboration with Ganni, although with Ganni, they kind of just worked with prints and patterns. They didn't really do too much when it came to actually changing silhouettes. Let me show you guys the collaboration I'm talking about. So this is the collaboration that they did. Let me just mute that music before this whole stream gets shut down. But yeah, this is the collaboration that they did with Ganni. So once again, there's nothing new. When your whole job, which is my job, just to talk about fashion and write about fashion all day, you see all these collabs all the time. So it's kind of like, I've seen this before, but it's cool. Copyright Inc. So yeah, that was the collaboration with Ganni. So we've seen this before, but I kind of like this idea of pushing comfortable heels, and then of course we can see someone's Demna's finger peeking out the bottom in this deliberate lo-fi Jürgen Teller-esque way of taking pictures. Moving on, because I feel like a lot of these are Demna-isms we've seen. Of course, we're seeing the heels once again from a different angle. Let's move on, moving on. Of course, this side of the Lamborghini collaboration doesn't really interest me that much, apart from the fact there's literally a Lamborghini logo on Balenciaga bags. So we can speed run past that. These kind of looks are the looks that I absolutely love from Demna. Absolutely love that. This got delayed so much I thought I'd never live to see it happen. That's funny. But yeah, this is what I absolutely love from Demna. Kind of referencing Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes and bringing them into a more modern context. Obviously making them a bit less, because a lot of what Cristobal Balenciaga did was structured. The silhouettes were very structured, where Demna relaxes them, but he still does it though. Sometimes I see online this critique of Demna where it's like, there's nothing about what Demna does that relates to Cristobal Balenciaga, which just isn't true. That's not true at all. The merchy stuff, definitely, but every season we see Demna play with Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes, whether it's a cocoon shape or anything else. So yeah, this is what I really, really love from Demna. That's what I always love. Of course, now we're getting into the side of Demna-isms that I don't like sometimes, where this is like his trench coat scarf. This is an idea that he's played with in many different collections. So he'll take like a garment and change the context of the garment, which is what he does all the time. He does it in his couture collections. In this case, it's a trench coat made out of a scarf. He's done jeans into collars that I've, made a joke about before. And I did a whole stream, if you guys remember, where I literally wore a pair of jeans as a collar, but he's done, the top of trousers and jeans as the shape of a coat collar. He's done jeans as a scarf. He's done trench coats as a scarf. He's done knitwear pieces as a scarf. He's done all of that. I think it's cool, depending on how it's styled and how it's draped, but I would prefer if these kind of things, they keep it to the minimum. Of course, we have these Lamborghini earrings. We also have some more incognito-esque style Balenciaga sunglasses. Shout out to Martal Margiela. That's where a lot of these ideas come from when it comes to these incog sunglasses. Here again, we have some more coat scarves going on. I prefer it in this look. I think it looks way more chic and more interesting the way that it's styled. I like the colors too. I like the layering of it. So I definitely prefer how it's done here to here, for example. Here it looks a bit messy and a bit, just thrown on, whereas here it looks more considered. But yeah, the only funny thing there is how much you're going to pay for a coat scarf. I should stop, talking about luxury prices. We all know that it's not. Luxury has lost its luster. We talk about this all the time. Let me not beat a dead horse. You woman you says the coat scarf is dope. I totally agree. Big, big fan. Look 12 would have gone triple platinum in 2021. Are those earrings brass? I'm sure you would love it to be brass. I'm very sure that's what you would love. Once again, just emphasizing this collaboration with Scholl. So you have the Scholl Balenciaga cap with the typical Balenciaga cap shape, which is the brim is normally long, thinner, and bent. It has a more exaggerated bend. I actually really love the shape of Balenciaga caps. As someone that literally wears caps all the time, I do love them. We have some more Demna-isms. Every time I see camo in a Demna collection, it reminds me of one of Demna's Vêtements collections that I am a big fan of. Actually, I'll put it on the screen. Because I'm getting in. Someone sent me a DM while I was on my break and was like, I really like that you can reference to so many shows when you review collections and stuff, and it shows that you have like a wide knowledge base. But I would really love, they're kind of like giving me a compliment before they rip me into shreds, and I'm joking, but they're like, but I'd really love if you actually show us what you're talking about. So it's not just like I have to imagine what you're talking about and I don't actually know what you're saying. So that's why I've made it more of a thing now. Every time I mention something, I'm like, okay, let me put something on the screen. Let me put something on the screen. But going on, what I'm actually talking about is this collection here. So Vêtements Spring Summer 19. So this collection was inspired by the Georgian War, which of course is a war that Demna fled. That's how Demna became a refugee. It's quite dark. But essentially, there's a lot of camo in this collection in different hues. And I really like the shade of camo, like this shade of camo, for example, is something that Demna has used a lot of Balenciaga. And it just reminds me of his time at Vêtements, where he used to use like that shade of camo all the time. So yeah, every time I see it, this is what I think about every single time when I see a really light wash of camo. Io's DM sound like a mass execution. So yeah, these are very much Demna-isms. And then here we have another scarf. This scarf here looks like a bathrobe. So like I said, it's Demna taking garments and changing the context of them. Something that you normally wear over your body, he's changing the context and making you wear them over your neck as a scarf. And you have different choices. You can wear a coat scarf, a bathrobe scarf, or a trench coat scarf. Whichever one you prefer, all the options are there for all of you. Kalina says, it definitely helps me to learn a little since I'm new to following collections. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm glad I can help. But yeah, I'm getting a lot better at showing things on the screen quickly. I guess I'm getting into the role of being a streamer. So yeah, I like referencing because it's interesting to see how designers develop their design language. Like even when I was talking about the whole orthodox silhouettes that Demna likes to use and he's used since Vêtements days, and he's kind of developed it from something more obvious that priests would wear to taking shirts and changing it into that silhouette, or taking knitwear and making a dress into that silhouette. A jarf, a jean scarf. I love that name actually. Jarf, a scrobe. I absolutely love that. Moving on, guys, moving on. Okay, here we have some more scarf-free and draping. So let's just move on. I feel like you guys get the message at this point. I feel like I've explained it into the death. We have the quintessential Balenciaga track jacket, two-piece. You've got the trousers and the jacket, or the pants, as my American viewers would say, the pants. Matching pants. So you have those. Balenciaga does that all the time at this point. Looking closer, it actually looks like, let me see. That might be a very interesting fabric. I'll have to look at that after the stream. But moving on, we've got some more Lamborghini logos for good measure. These chunky belts, I've been trying, if anyone knows what's written there. Before I got on the stream, I was really trying to find images like close-ups and I couldn't find one. I really want to know what is written on the belt because I can't read it. And I know that everything Balenciaga does is intentional. So I want to know what exactly like they wrote on that. So if anyone like has a link, please let me know. We've got some more of the Scholl collaboration. The jackets. I also love, because this is what Demna does so well. And I feel like this is why Demna is such a successful designer. Demna can take the most commercial piece, like the most like boring, mundane, basic ass, plain Jane jacket, like, and make the shoulders really exaggerated, make the sleeves really wide, and just make something that is supposed to be mundane actually really interesting. I think that's where he shines, and I think that's why he sells a lot. Like why his Balenciaga sells a lot, because it's desirable to wear. Because if you don't want to wear something completely basic, but you want something that's easy to wear and also versatile, like this, both of these pieces here, the skirt and the jacket, are very versatile, especially with the color. You can wear it with so many different things, right? That could fit seamlessly into people's wardrobes. And you can layer those in very interesting ways. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. So this is a big reason why he does so well commercially. Brits are mad that they blew a 13 collar lead. That's funny. Also, this looks interesting because this skirt looks two layered. So the back, one side is denim, and then so the back is denim and the front is what looks to me like cotton or like wool. That's interesting. What I want to know, which is why I want to see this garment up close. This is the kind of garment I'd want to see up close. If they are using, if this isn't an optical illusion and this isn't just black denim, which it doesn't look like it to me, it would be really interesting to see what they've done construction-wise to make sure that this works. Because for people that don't know, some of you are designers, so you would understand this. But for people that aren't designers, it's very hard to balance two fabrics that are very different weights. It's not good. Because if the denim is really heavy and the fabric on the front is really light, the denim is constantly pulling on the fabric, and that will damage the garment over time. So sometimes designers that are terrible won't reinforce the garment, and so designers that are terrible will just let the garment get damaged and not really think about that. They're only thinking of the aesthetic of it. A really good designer will find ways to reinforce the garment to make it balanced. These are the kind of things, by the way, that couturiers like Cristobal Balenciaga used to do, where to make up for weight differences in garments, he would reinforce certain aspects to balance the garment. It's things like this. That's why people say, oh, Cristobal Balenciaga is a master of tailoring. That's a big reason why. So for people that aren't designers, so it would be really interesting to know what they've done, or if they've actually done anything to kind of overcome that issue. I also read that the neck warmers, these kind of like neck support things that you would wear in an airplane, these are in collaboration with Scholl also. So this idea of comfort goes further into the accessories, not just the footwear. Yeah, Carolina says, I mean, interfacing exists for this reason. Exactly. You can turn out design after design with just playing with proportion. Facts, facts, facts. Are the fake denim leathers good quality, or does the process of making it denim-like destructive? So, to be honest, I don't really know about... That's more a question for Micah, one, because Micah actually has a few pieces from Balenciaga that are in the realm of playing with, you know, optical illusions, like, oh, it looks like denim, but it's actually cotton. So he would be able to tell you about the quality. You know what? Let me call him midstream and see what he says. If he picks up, who knows? He may or may not pick up. Let's see. This is like becoming a stream. I'm literally calling my friends midstream. That's really weird. Let's see if he picks up, guys. Hello, hello. I'm good. Basically, I'm on a stream, but I need to ask you a question quickly because... No, midstream. We're doing calls midstream, bro. But anyway, so I have a quick question to you from the chat. So people are asking if... You know when Balenciaga does those optical illusion fabric things? Yeah, the trompe-l'œil. You know your piece that's... I think it's supposed to look like denim, the trousers. But what fabric is it? Cotton, I think.
Mine's velvet.
Okay, yours is velvet. Okay, cool. What is the quality on those like? People are wondering, like, is it the fact that he does kind of like these fake, you know, denim thing, does it make the quality less? Does it feel substantial? What's the quality like?
That's a hard one. I only say that because I think Balenciaga actually do really good denim in general, like really good quality denim.
Right.
So if it were made of denim, like it looks like it is, it would be very high quality anyway, in my opinion.
Right.
But I think it's pretty high quality in the sense of that one, it's completely velvet, so I feel like I'm wearing joggers when I'm wearing it, but it looks completely like denim. The only, obviously, awkward bit is velvet is a difficult material to clean, so ideally it's a dry clean job only. Whereas jeans, you can just chuck them in the wash if you want it.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're decent quality. I mean, are they worth 1.3K? I don't know about that, but that's how much they cost. So.
It's like, I don't know about the 1.3K price tag, but you know. That's funny. Okay, thank you very much for your contribution, Mike. I shall be hopping back on the stream.
No worries.
All right, talk to you later, bro. Okay, there you go, guys. We did a quick Who Wants to Be a Millionaire phone a friend. That's your answer, guys. Leah says, thanks for your service, Mike. That's funny. You know what? The funny thing about this is sometimes I get questions midstream and I'm always like a friend away from answering that question, but I never actually came up with the idea to phone a friend. So maybe that's a new aspect to these streams now. We're just going to start phoning a friend. Brutality is saying there's no denim aspect to it other than the look. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like fake denim in the sense that it's supposed to look like denim, but it's not. That's exactly what we were talking about. So this look is actually really interesting. Why this is interesting is something that Balenciaga have been doing over the years, especially in like the recent collections, is they've almost been trying to create the most comfortable, you know, leather racing jacket, like motorcycling jacket, racing jacket type of thing. So they aren't obviously, you know, functional, because if you have anyone that has a race jacket, I'm into motorcycling, so I have a lot of motorcycling jackets, and they are heavy as shit because they have shoulder pads and elbow pads and chest pads and back pads. They are so heavy, it's unbelievable. Like I literally cannot wear them if it's not winter, or if I'm actually just not motorcycling. Um, so they've kind of removed all of the protection, which is what makes it functional, and kept the aesthetic of it, which is kind of cool because I think that motorcycle jackets, racing jackets look cool, but it's hard for me to wear my motorcycle jackets for fashion reasons because they're just so damn heavy. So this is kind of cool, kind of taking the aesthetic of it, taking the functionality out of it, making it comfortable so you can have the aesthetic of the jacket, and then there are obviously the matching trousers. And of course, like they would never be this baggy. So that is actually something I find really interesting, kind of taking the aesthetic of something. And this is something I think Demna does well also. One of my grails actually is, do you guys remember when Demna was doing police uniforms when he was at Vetements? There was this absolutely insane. Let me in the spirit of putting stuff on the screen. I think it was Vetements Spring Summer 20 because I remember Vetements Spring Summer 20 was the McDonald's collection. But they had these like bomber jackets that were kind of inspired by security uniforms, and I really love that jacket. Yeah, this stuff here. So it's from this collection. So this stuff here is really cool because Demna does that. Demna will take like a police uniform or security uniform that he sees and kind of work on it and transform it into something more fashion focused and something easier to wear and something also more lightweight. So that's something that I've always loved that Demna does. And it makes a really good product. It really, really does. It makes a really, really good product. So police. Op cosplay. I still need those first motocross boots. Those were amazing, by the way. And as a motorcycling fan, what's more swaggy than being on your Ducati wearing the Balenciaga motocross boots? On like a Ducati Hypermotard or something like that. The McDonald's collection. I don't think it was actually called the McDonald's collection. I think I just refer to it as the McDonald's collection because it was held in a McDonald's. I don't actually think that was the name of the collection. Not someone saying I'm ready to join Scotland Yard. That's funny. I can cosplay, but I'm never going to join. We can do Balenciaga fashion cosplay, but joining, that's certainly not going to happen, guys. In no way, Jose. Not even in a million years, guys. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Balenciaga crest also is an idea that Demna has been building on since the Vetements days. So I don't want to beat a dead horse there. Same thing here, kind of security shirts. We've literally just talked about that. Um, these like exaggerated distress shoes. These look like, when, I don't know because only people from the UK will kind of understand this reference, but these shoes look like, in the UK we have something called sixth form. That is when you're in school from the ages of 16 to 18. That is high school, I guess, for Americans. But for most sixth forms in the UK, the dress code is you no longer wear school uniform, but you have to come to school smart. So you have to wear a suit or a blazer and smart trousers and stuff like that. And of course, at that age, most of us don't have a lot of money. So we buy like one pair of dress shoes. And this is how they end up looking by the end of the term or the semester. Like this, where the soul is getting to the point it's going to start talking. The sides are a bit rubbed in. That is literally what these shoes remind me of. It's so funny. But I guess it's less funny considering they're gonna charge an arm and a leg for those shoes. But as a concept and as an idea, that's quite funny, and that goes into Demna's sense of humor that I really like and I find really hilarious. So yeah, does Balenciaga have the most logos or emblems? It seems to work. I would say they are one of the brands that has the largest array of emblems and logos. I definitely would say that. Because also Demna does riffs and going back to Vetements, I feel like I'm just referencing Vetements constantly. But there are so many similarities. But going back to the Vetements days when, he would look at an Internet Explorer logo and flip it, or, a Heineken logo is also something he did and flip it. He's brought the idea to Balenciaga, but it's more refined at Balenciaga. So instead of flipping very obvious logos, he will take a crest of a security division, or, a crest of a police force, and make a custom Balenciaga crest out of that. So that's what is really interesting about what he does at Balenciaga. Whereas that Vetements is a bit too on the nose and a bit too obvious. Whereas I think there's a bit more work going into it at Balenciaga, which I love. Don't be ashamed of your Vetemensuality. We are recovering from the Bernie flip. Yeah, exactly. See? That's what I mean. Like earlier when he just used to do those like very obvious flips. But that Bernie Balenciaga flip was triple platinum. That had fashion in a chokehold when it came out. This had fashion in like a chokehold for sure. Dylan says this definitely my favorite post mud show easily. Yeah, same. I guess it shows because I'm talking about the clothes a lot. I'm not just talking about concepts or actually really talking about the clothes. Whereas sometimes I'm just like, oh no. He's like, do you actually believe this is a good collection? How dare you like some of the clothes? I like some of it. Some of it I don't like. Like, we'll get into what I don't like eventually. It's quite telling that they put all that stuff at the end. Very interesting. So, this idea of these like sneaker heels is something that, of course, Demna has been doing since Vetements days. Like, think, Vetements, Reebok stuff, so many stuff that they've done in the past. He's done it at Balenciaga. So many brands have done this idea. It also reminds me of who's that London-based designer? I think she's Serbian. Ankuta Saka. She's like known for doing stuff like that, like making sort of kitten heels out of sneakers and making sneaker heels and stuff like that. If you guys aren't too familiar with Ankuta Saka, this is the kind of stuff she shows at London Fashion Week a lot, but this is the kind of stuff that she's known for making. And she does a lot of upcycling, so she's very, very celebrated in fashion. I really love what she does, to be honest. So yeah, it kind of plays into this idea of comfort once again. The Dr. Scholl collab, the fact that we're making heels, but heels that aren't going to destroy your feet and aren't difficult to wear and painful to wear. That's kind of the concept across this collection. I'm not talking about Dilara, I'm talking about Ankuta Saka. They're two different people. Dilara Findakoglu is very different to Ankuta Saka. Two different people. Two completely different people. Moving on. Oh no, even some more incognito. They've taken the incognito so far. This looks like a VR set. Which is probably what the idea is for it. This is exactly what it looks like, to be honest. Oversized hoodie, layering. They've used a Lamborghini car key, as a chain. Do you know what? To talk about this Lamborghini thing, the Lamborghini collab it makes the collection look so weird. It's so out of place where they're just slapping Lamborghini logos here and there, wherever. I think it actually takes away from the collection because there are many aspects of this collection that I really love. I think all this Lamborghini stuff is kind of just put in random places, and it's not great. Um, I also think it's kind of they're trying to market the new Lamborghini, and they're using Balenciaga to do that. I feel like because for people that don't know, not too long ago, Lamborghini launched the car. It's called the Temerario, and this is, I think, Lamborghini's second hybrid car. And the reason why they're pushing it so hard, of course, is because if you guys watched my last video that I just posted, a lot of governments around the world are pushing for electric cars and electrification in cars. And so a lot of even the cars that said we would never have an electric car and all that stuff, even they are forced into making hybrids. The new Porsche 911s are hybrid. So we're seeing that across. And this car is going to be the replacement for the Huracan, which is obviously a very iconic, famous Lamborghini car. And so the fact that in this collection, which you will see, one of the pieces just has a print of the car. I'm like, the second I saw that piece in this collection with the print of that specific car, I was like, yeah, this is just a Lamborghini collaboration where they're just kind of paying for, Balenciaga to showcase this car because it makes sense. That's their audience. It's the same audience in a sense. The same people that probably buy Balenciaga, a lot of them, have Lambos and stuff like that. So it makes sense. Also, by the way, Jennifer, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. If we get to 5 donations in this live stream, I have to wear my cap backwards. I saw that Jen said she wants to see me wear my cap backwards. So if we get 5 donations in the stream, then I have to wear my cap backwards. That's funny though. It seems that they didn't have enough time to design the collab in depth. That definitely seems to be the case. Although it's not completely horrible. I just think a lot of it seems a bit misplaced. This is kind of cool, I guess, kind of like a Lamborghini car keychain. It is kind of strange to have a Lamborghini car keychain but not to actually own the car itself and not actually have the car key. It's almost like you're cosplaying being a Lamborghini owner. It's a bit odd. Oh, we might get kind of the writing of this. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. This jacket silhouette, once again, is something I love. When Demna does contemporary garments using Cristobal Balenciaga's shapes, I love that. I talk about all the time Demna's debut at Balenciaga when he did those track jackets and those C-shaped puffers. Those are definitely some of my grails. Yeah, I would love to one day be rich so I can just to afford those. No, I'm joking. I want to be rich so I don't actually have to struggle in life. But anyway, it's so good. It's just so good. It's honestly so good when Demna does these kind of silhouettes. Now, I'm not the fan of the sleeveless thing. That's not my personal style. I personally wouldn't wear that. If it was a long sleeve version, I'm all for it. Also because Demna's silhouette works for my body type because he always has elongated sleeves and the sleeves are actually quite wide. And with my proportions, I have crazy long arms. So most times when I buy stuff, like the sleeves are like here and it looks really ridiculous. But if I was to wear Balenciaga stuff, it more looks like that, which is perfect. So long sleeve, I'm here for it. But if it's not long sleeve, then no. We get a side. Oh yeah, so they are like VR headsets in a way. So yeah, I was completely right. They literally look like VR headsets. They look like, because the strap is also kind of weird. So it's almost like they're Balenciaga VR headsets, but slightly also ski goggles. They're like 5% ski goggles and like 95% VR. It's kind of strange. Let's move on. Aha, yeah. So I think it was in press release that they sent to like journalists and stuff. That once again, because they have this idea, like I was saying earlier, of this most comfortable motorcycle leather racing jacket, they wanted to, because they're collaborating with Lamborghini in this collection, actually have like a proper leather motorcycle jacket, like, and like the motorcycle pants and a proper like leather racing jacket. So this is basically what it is. So here it is, guys. I'm trying to see if there's like actual padding, or they just were like, no, we're just gonna make it a really good leather this time, but we're not going to still put any of the padding in it, and it's still not going to be functional. It's looking like it's not really that functional, which is fine. So it's just cool to just have it in a different fabric, because that's the whole point of it in the first place. If it's too functional, then it becomes too heavy, and then you can't wear it in different contexts. So I'm not really mad at that, to be honest. Uni says, I love the men's, I hate the women so far. Interesting. Interesting. You've got some more strange Lamborghini logos randomly in places. They got all sorts of, from a Lamborghini car keychain, that's what we're going to call it, to something with the Lamborghini ball, and all that stuff. Someone in the chat said, this jacket is made with bull leather as an irony for the collab with Lambo. That's crazy. I don't actually know what kind of leather it's made with, but if it was actually made with bull leather, that's like crazy. That's actually insane. Yeah, guys, so this is what I'm talking about, where they literally have t-shirts printing the exact Lamborghini that the company is trying to push as they usher into their hybrid era. So the second I saw these t-shirts, I was like, yeah. So that's what this is. This is just a marketing exercise. The second I saw that, it's like, oh yeah, it's not even about creativity like that. It's really just a marketing exercise. Uh, Footwear, interesting, of course. These are like what Balenciaga claims is their basketball sneaker. It's kind of a play on the Nike foam posits. I'll put that on the screen for people that aren't too familiar with what foam posits look like or what they even are. So these are the Nike foam posits. They're a very iconic shoe, especially in basketball. Like a lot of basketball players have worn them historically. A lot of people, Penny Hardaway, blah, blah, blah. Comme des Garçons did a collaboration recently on the foam posits. So these are the Comme des Garçons foam posits. For people that don't know, every season for Scottie Pippen too. Every season for Comme des Garçons Un Plus, if you look on the runway show, they have a footwear collaboration with Nike every season. Every single season. If you look at the Comme des Garçons Un Plus runway shows, they have a Nike collab. So this was one of them. I don't think it got that much traction online. I didn't see too many people talking about these, to be honest. Yeah, this was when they were actually on the Comme des Garçons Un Plus runway show. But yeah, moving on. Those are what the foam posits look like. We can go on the Instagram page of the Balenciaga designer. Let's see if they talk about it. If she talks about it in any post, it'll be interesting to see some like detail stuff. But yeah, anyway, those are what they call like their basketball sneakers. Yeah, here they are, the basketball sneaker. So they've got them in like different colors and stuff. I just for the band would want to see like an actual professional basketball player playing in them. They might destroy their ankles and get injured. Because these looked horrible function wise. But just for the fun of it, why not? Let's see someone playing those. If you have any questions about the products from this collection, I can answer. Did you work on the collection? Or are you trolling? Sometimes it's really hard to know. Exactly. Where's PJ Tucker when you need him? Because he wears everything and anything. He's the kind of person that would actually wear those in a game. luckily for him, PJ Tucker barely plays. So how many minutes does he play a game? So he probably won't get injured actually wearing those crazy shoes on the court. But anyway, moving on. So once again we have the Balenciaga Lambo collab. This is where I said that like the earlier part of the collection, big fan, using Cristóbal Balenciaga shapes in a modern context, doing it in the outerwear, the shape of the outerwear, you know, the scarves with the different materials and changing the context of clothing. I love that side of Demna. This stuff is where he loses me every season, where it literally just looks like merch, which is basically what it is, to be honest. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Now, in this collection, though, I think there's something interesting to be said about me always saying that he does all these merchy things, like collab with Arrow One and it's merchy, or all the different collabs that he does that just look like straight merch. However, I almost feel like in this collection, he he did something funny and humorous where you guys will see he has these kind of, you know, the band tees or like the merch tees that were trending, like the different, you know, Kanye West merch tee and all that sort of stuff. He made those tees for people that are, you know, faces of the brand and associated with the brand of Balenciaga when you think of Balenciaga. So there's like a Kim Kardashian tee and stuff like that. And that is very merchy. That is literally what a merch tee is. So it's kind of like he's almost playing into this idea that people say that Demna does merch. And like, oh my God, like Demna's doing all this merch. And he's like, okay, I'm going to give you merch then. And he's literally put that in the collection. That is funny. That is actually quite funny, to be honest. So you guys will see when we get there. I think there's one on Nicole Kidman too. I can't remember, but we'll see. Because Nicole Kidman is like damn near the face of Balenciaga alongside Kim Kardashian, as far as Demna's concerned. Of course, we have some of the old Demna-isms being brought back. This kind of shopping bag as an actual bag is something that he's played with. We've seen this idea in so many different iterations. Also, we've seen like the shoe box that he did. I think it was a leather shoe box that people were up in arms about. Let me show you guys that on the screen. Yeah, it was this one here. It's kind of like a shoebox clutch bag in a sense. We've seen all the various iterations of these kind of ideas from Demna. So yeah, that's nothing new. That's a straight Demna-ism that we're used to seeing. We've come accustomed to. Jean got a hyphenated name. We got to trust the insight. Wait, so Look 33 has been well received. Wait, let me go back to Look 33. Is it what part of it is well received? Is it just the fact that it's a Lamborghini Balenciaga piece, or is it the footwear? Like, what about it is being well received? It's definitely not my favorite aspect. Yeah, like the drawstring bags that, you know, like the garment bags that you would get in your shoes, the dust bags, turning that into an actual bag to be worn. Another Demna-ism. I mean, need I say more? We've talked about the camo. We've talked about this idea of Demna taking different aspects of uniforms from different things and making them more easy to wear. So that's kind of what you have here, with something that looks like more of an American football jersey, but Balenciaga version of that. The sleeves even look leather almost. That looks like leather. So that's also cool. That's interesting. Moving on, moving on. I'm gonna start wearing my dust bag and shoebox outside. Hey, why not? Why not? We can make anything fashion these days, guys. I wonder if they'd ever do a fight wear collaboration like Fairtex or yo, that would be so cool. I mean, that would be cool, like Balenciaga Fairtex. That would be so cool because it's just like collecting all the sports that I do because I play basketball, I'm into motorcycling, and I don't do Muay Thai at the moment. There was a point when I was really into it. I've kind of slowed down because I was doing too many things and I don't have the time, but I definitely want to get back into Muay Thai. But yeah, like a Fairtex collaboration would be insane. Balenciaga Fairtex would be insane. Like shorts, boxing gloves, hand wraps, shin guards. That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, they made the BJJ gi pants. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, exactly. This is also interesting considering that they collaborated with Adidas and it went to shit. So now they're just like, fuck a three stripes. Let's give them five. Why do an Adidas collab when we can just put five stripes instead? That's funny. What does that say? CEO? Oh hell no. Casual. Wait, what is the Balenciaga CEO supposed to stand for? Casual something out. We need a different angle so we can see exactly what the joke is supposed to be. Let's see. Who's our resident Balenciaga expert? What does the CEO stand for? We can't read it because of the angle. Casual everyday outfits. There we go. There we go. There we go. Interesting. Interesting. We've got PJs, but I'm very sure that considering how intentional Demna is, I know there's more to it than that. So I really want to feel that fabric to know. And also, this stuff, every time I see this kind of motif on the Balenciaga like tracksuits and stuff, it reminds me of Oakley. It's very Oakley coded. That's very Asian English. Okay. I'm trying to see what they're doing with layering. Okay. This kind of stuff is cool. It's not my taste that Demna does. I know there's people that like love the crazy layer stuff and like all that sort of stuff. It's not really me. Now they're just telling you that they had a collaboration with Scholl and they're plastering the logos on the pieces. Let's see what charms they've put on the bags. This will be interesting because I remember I did the stream where we talked about charms. Bag charms is a big trend right now. So they've got the priority baggage tag. They've got bottle caps, caravanas. They've got a leather. It looks like a price tag, but it's actually made of leather. Those are actually, I will give Balenciaga credit. As far as bag charms go, those are really cool. I'm not gonna lie. A priority tag, a leather price tag, bottle. That's actually kind of cool. I'll give them credit on that one. Yeah. The Rodeo bag is going triple platinum. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I feel like we've hammered this idea of like Rodeo bags selling so well in previous live streams. And also, we've had Finn come on the stream and talk about like actual sales figures of the Rodeo bag. So it's gone triple platinum in these streets is the conclusion. Yeah, whoever does Balenciaga bags is goated too. I totally agree. When it comes to accessories, they are, yeah, top notch because they continue. The thing about Balenciaga compared to most brands is most brands they rely too much on heritage, and because they lean too deeply in heritage, and no one cares about the innovation that they do. So I'll give you a good example. Fendi, almost every couple of seasons, they come out with a new bag that is actually quite interesting, but no one cares. Because when it comes to Fendi, people only want to hear about, a peekaboo, or people only want to hear about a baguette. So unfortunately, that stuff goes unnoticed, so there's no impact there. Whereas luckily, because Balenciaga, kind of what Demna has been doing at Balenciaga is not leaning too much on the heritage. Therefore, the customers don't expect that, and they don't come with the expectation that we only care about the heritage, and therefore, the new stuff that you know comes out, people are always interested every single season. And that's why they can actually do all these new footwear designs that take off, these, bag designs that take off, or just like transforming old bag designs and it takes off. That's why they can do that. I'm really surprised this collection is getting praise on here. I think we have to remember it's a pre-fall collection. So I'm judging it in the context of the fact it's going to be more commercial than normal anyway. Um, so also bear that in mind. Okay, the show collab. We've got the Balenciaga five stripes. I find it so funny because literally, when we think of the Balenciaga scandal, part of it was the Adidas campaign. So it's just funny. Of course, we have the Balenciaga queer distressed t-shirt. We've seen the Balenciaga gay hoodie. Now we have the Balenciaga queer t-shirt. What other phrases do we need to complete the collection, guys? We've got queer, we've got gay. I'm trying to think of what else we need to complete the collection. But yeah. I feel that they could have made it interesting though. I guess the whole point of it though, because this looks like something that was made by the Gap, which is also the point of the gay hoodie too. Like the way that this is put onto the garment. But I don't know, it could have been more interesting than just this kind of like distressed, like torn up um t-shirt. I don't know. Exactly. Straight gimmick. Straight gimmick. Straight ass gimmicks. So this is interesting because, like I said, I like the shape of Demna's outerwear when he uses Balenciaga silhouettes. However, this, even though it's long sleeve, doesn't really have the silhouette that I personally look for. But I'm sure there's a customer for this. And they are really pushing these Lamborghini car key necklaces. These Lamborghini car key chains. They really want these to go. They are really pushing these. Interesting. I want to see how many more looks are gonna have that chain. Okay, yes, guys. So this is exactly what I was talking about. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying, do you guys remember when? I don't know if this is still a trend. When people had whole businesses just by making these kind of tees. Like they would make I don't know, an Erica Badu tee, and it would have that kind of design. They'll make a Kanye West tee, a Travis Scott tee. So Balenciaga is leaning into that, and they've made their own versions of those, but with people who are ambassadors of the Balenciaga brand. So of course, Kim Kardashian being one of the big ones. And I also think it doubles as a very interesting take on the fact that, people like me say this stuff is so merchy. I don't like when Demna does merch, which I still don't like, by the way. But it's still interesting. I like that they've kind of played into that and kind of leaned into it more aggressively. So that's just kind of fun and interesting. See what I mean? So this is actually the section where they have all of them, I think. Let me see if they yeah. So yeah. So they have all of them. All of them are in this section. So let's just skip past. Show you guys all the different ones that they made so you guys can get a view. Here you go, Nicole Kidman. Okay, CEO. I knew it. Remember when I told you guys that the queer piece looks like a Gap piece? This CEO piece looks like a Gap thing, like a Gap flip also. So, but this is more obvious than the queer t-shirt. That gold plaque on the bags are the gold plaques that you find for doctors, dentists and therapists in front of the walls in Paris. Ah, that's interesting. That's also kind of in most places, like in the UK, they have those plaques too. Some people have it like in front of their doors and stuff, which is really interesting. So he wasn't joking. So, what other insight do you have for us about this collection? I'd really love to know because I'm almost at the end of it anyway. So I'd like to know what other nuggets I might have missed out. It would be cool to know. And then we have these kind of lace chokers. Now, are these actual lace or are those like tattoos? I can't actually see properly. It's hard for me to see. Maybe we'll get that insight. Let's see. Let's see. Petite might actually be Balenci himself. CEO engineered by unemployment. Emo is fully mainstream. Oh yeah, 100%. 100% emo is super mainstream. The boxer shorts as actual shorts. That's funny. That's such a Demna thing to do. The heels with the the front of the shoe so curled up that you see the two B's. Very Demna. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if this is like a tattoo or they're like stickers on the skin. I can't really make out exactly. Chokers in 2024 is that punk. Aristocratic punk. Oh my god. The law in these streams is actually insane. You guys are insane with the law. Ah, of course. We just had to get like a Demna dress where the bottom of the dress is supposed to be the top of the track pants and the legs of the track pants are made into the neckline. We get a version of something like this every season, it seems now. Um, so yeah, it's cool, I guess. I'm not the most major fan of it, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, let's just breeze through the whole Oakley stuff and get to the end. Oh my god, for a split second I was like, what the hell is that Emma Chamberlain? And I looked closer, I was like, okay, maybe not. Um, the boots are called the Wicked Boots, like the movie with Ariana Grande. Interesting. Interesting. Emma Chamber. Do you like what Balenciaga is doing? It looks very Adidas. Adidas? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I mean, I never dislike completely what any brand is doing. There's aspects of some brands that I might dislike, and then aspects that I might be a big fan of. I think in this case, I am a fan of a lot of the collection, apart from when we get to the merch banty, aspects of the collection. But the early parts of the collection, big fan. And I talked about a lot of it. So yeah, it's kind of fun running through. It'll be cool to see what other insight we get. So that white t-shirt got a really cool construction, look 58. So this look. Let's see. It's hard for me to tell in the image. I mean, what is interesting about it is it seems to have a very exaggerated drop shoulder, which is why you can see the seam is here. That's a very like a lot of Korean designers do this. I don't know why that is actually, but a lot of Korean designers do this kind of silhouette where like it's a very exaggerated drop shoulder and then you see the seams around like this amount down your arm and stuff. A lot of Korean designers like doing that. Yeah, the picture doesn't give grace to design. Oh yeah, 100%. That's why it's always better to obviously go into the showroom and see the stuff up close. But all of us are in the same boat, unless we are you and we've actually, worked on a collection or like seen it. Let's see. It has a kind of cap that makes it like a minimal modern dress, like Cristobal used to do. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, here, obviously, you can see that, like, because you can see it's quite tight in this section of the what is supposed to be, I guess, a t-shirt sort of dress. So you can tell that something has been done to make it do that, to make it get tighter around the waist in that sense. But it's really cool though. It is really cool. John, let me into the fashion world. Hips don't lie. Honestly, I wanted to see lots of these pieces move to appreciate it better. And that's the issue with obviously the way that Demna has decided to present this collection, where he's essentially presenting it as just like an iPhone kind of lo-fi thing, rather than on a runaway show where we get to see how these garments actually move. And I think also on a runway show, we get to see different angles depending on the camera angles that we get, more so than when we get images like this. What I really don't like, let me show you something that, and I'm begging brands to keep doing this, by the way. I'm going to keep begging brands to do this, because if you notice, right, if you look at the detail shots, some of them have, like, you can see the backs of garments, and some of them you can't. Every single, on Vogue Runway, I don't know, obviously in this case it's like coming from Balenciaga, but like normally Vogue has a photographer that goes and takes these pictures. We need a side profile, we need a front profile, and we need a back profile for every look. The whole only showing us the front isn't great. We can't even see like stuff that's on the sleeve. Like when I was saying, what does the CEO stand for? Because we couldn't read it because it was on the sleeve. So the photography needs to improve so we can actually see more stuff and see more aspects to the way that garments are constructed, especially when clothing is presented and it's not on the runway, so we can't even see how these move. Yeah, you can see there is something going on, but on a runway, it would be easier to understand. Exactly, exactly. I like this breakdown. I think when people say he's messing with Cristobal's legacy, they aren't looking close enough. Demna seeks to make Cristobal's work contemporary in an era of hoodies, sweats plus denim. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Which is why I said earlier, like a lot of people say, what Demna's doing has nothing to do with Balenciaga, which I never agree with that standpoint. Because it just isn't true. Like, it just isn't true. But, yeah. And I also agree with this, and many times he executed it poorly. I agree with that too, because sometimes it gets too murky. There was a time when you could break down Demna's collections into a science. It's kind of still like that, but less so, where it's like, okay, at first we're going to get the priest-like aesthetics, and then we're going to get the track jackets and the football jerseys, because he was very obsessed with football at the time, like soccer, as the Americans will say. So he had that section, and it was always in sections. Then you would have some like outerwear pieces, like really oversized, exaggerated, blazers and jackets with, very exaggerated shoulders. And then the last like 4 or 5 looks of these amazing haute couture type dresses. And it was just like, it was literally like a science. It was like a formula. The day a 360 is done a presentation would be revolutionary, pun intended. I know, right? Like, and it's such a basic thing. Just show us every angle of the garment. It's such a basic, you know, it's actually such a basic thing. It's so basic. A little insight for Aya. The people who play football in the US just say footy, everyone else says soccer. Okay, I just assume, thank you for the insight. I just assume that every single person in the US just says soccer. Because what you guys call football is American football, so I understand it. Fashion is afraid of the basics. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for coming to my Balenciaga TED talk. Oh my god, I can't even speak. I very much enjoyed talking about this collection, going through the looks, talking about some of the stuff and looking at it closer. Because I think sometimes, which I don't like when I see the discourse on, I think people have even stopped, people have moved on from this collection and people are already talking about like the British Fashion Awards and stuff. People bashed the collection, didn't really look at it closely, and then moved on. And it's just insane. It's like we need to actually take our time and take in a lot of the work that these designers put out. So, it's good for me to look at it closely and say what I like, what I don't like, and what interests me. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Like I said, I shall be trying my best to be more consistent with the streams. I was actually on holiday. I'm back from holiday now, so you shall be seeing my face a lot. A lot. I have an editor also who is watching this stream right now, and he will be cutting down my streams, so that will be more consistent too. I will be posting, let's say, 2 or 3 clips from my streams a day. So we're gonna go really hard into the streams. Before I go, what I will say is like the stream. I will appreciate it. And lastly, I am now on Spotify. So I put all of my streams on Spotify. So if you guys have Spotify Premium, if you don't like the ads when you watch it back, you can watch it on Spotify on the go if that's easier for you. The link of my Spotify page should be in the description, so you can follow it. And I'll be seeing you guys later. If you guys are in the Discord, then I'll see you in the Discord in a few minutes. Otherwise, till tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in.